Hello, gamers. What's going on? Welcome in, everybody. Astro, Abra, will be Cuddles. I would like to apologize for the extremely delayed stream today. I know we're starting like 2 hours later than normal. So my bad. My sleep schedule's been very bad, and it's extremely difficult sometimes to get up to stream. But we're up, and it's fine. Good news, though, is that I have figured out exactly what's causing all the multiplayer issues. And I've tested some stuff and proven a way that I can fix it. So I think we may be good. It's crazy because basically all the issues we were having is like a bunch of issues. The first thing is that we have to be careful about when we start sending info over on the synchronizers. If we're not fully connected, it's just gonna break and everything dies. And then the next thing is that I've finally realized is that you have to be careful with how many RPCs you send, because as soon as you hit like too many RPCs, everything just dies. And that's why we had the issue with land tiles, but I've also discovered now that the same issue is happening with conveyors. So I think I can just implement the same kind of packet system, and hopefully everything will work. But yeah. Salary 10 Studios, welcome in. How's it going? Ads are annoying. I know. Ads are pretty stupid. I wish I could not play them at all, but Twitch does not give me the option. So it is what it is. Mobile playtesting keys you rolled out? Yeah, I want to do that very soon. I paused the Google form, so, and then I did go ahead and create the playtesting channels in here, as you can see. Playtesting. I haven't added anybody to the roles yet, but I'm gonna start doing that. I'm just gonna be going through all the people, adding you guys to the playtesting role, and then I just need to go request keys and then get a build uploaded, so we can literally go request some right now. I'll just request like a bunch. Like 50 keys should be plenty. If it lets me request keys, it should. I need to get a couple different ones because I need some developer keys. What do I... Team... SB... Test... I don't know what tag to give these. There's just a bunch of different random tags, like for different companies and stuff. Territory codes. SB development. I don't know what that is. I'll just say testing, sure. All right, and then let's see. I think I don't need that many of these. We probably only need... Let's thank for the speed K-Mac. Have been here in a long time. Yeah, well, welcome in. You're doing good. And thanks. Trying to pixel art something about drawing bases. Okay. Neat. So let's see. You missed a stream? It's all good. Here's what I hate about the Twitch watch like stream streak thing is it's kind of very unfair. It's like normal to miss a stream. So I think it's ridiculous that it like punishes you for missing one. It's kind of like, man, that's like not fair. Yeah, that kind of sucks. See, I guess I really only need 2 keys. Well, I'll just do like 5 because I don't know. I'm probably going to be giving out a few developer keys. Distributing developer keys to our internal dev team for testing. Submit the request. And that one's like, I've never had a request not work. So it's usually pretty, yo, thank you for the cheese time. Say, Zafencer, welcome in. How's it going? And Oshik, welcome in. Yeah, that really sucks. You had a massive streak going on. You were like 35. Man. I wish there was like a way. I think it's stupid that like, it should give you like a couple times to like, miss one. It's dumb, guys. Twitch is weaponizing viewers with that. It's like, come on. You're just gonna feel bad then if you miss a stream. Oh well. I like the point system way better because it's just like, you get points if you miss a stream, not a big deal. You just get more points to the second stream, you know? So. Also broke my headphones today. Oh, that sucks. Headphones. Set up and pulled them out of the port. Now audio is jacked and the mic doesn't work. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I had a while ago, I bought like a Razer headset that was hardwired and that same thing happened to me. I was like walking, forgot I had it plugged in, just ripped out of the USB port and it got all messed up and the cable was destroyed. It sucks. That's, I think, one of the reasons why I like wireless. So I'm tired AF. Maybe I am. Yeah. I am pretty tired. You get a 24-hour grace period? Okay. But like, but if I do a stream every day, then that doesn't really mean anything. Is the issue. Also, bro, we're allowed to sign up for both, right? Yeah, you're totally welcome to sign up for both. I encourage people to. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and request these now. This will be playtest, and we're gonna request. Yeah, deadlift for beta testing. That should be fine. And let's request 50 of those. I will be distributing these keys in order to run play tests for our game. Okay. So those are now being requested. Sometimes it takes a couple days, so I will let you guys know. I also have to do the same thing for alert in too. Let's go do that. Request Steam keys. External dev team. Testing. Alert in. 5. I will be distributing these keys to our development team to test and develop the game. All right. Then we need to do the... This one we don't need as many. I'll do like 20. Oops, that's the... I stream during the week. Yeah, I stream on Wednesday. The schedule's Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I have considered in the past potentially dropping Saturday, because sometimes it is pretty annoying having every weekend day filled up with the stream. Because if anybody ever wants to like go do something, I have to be like, sorry guys, I have to stream. So I don't know, maybe one day when Starground's a little more wrapped up or something, we might eventually just drop Saturday, so that it's 3 days a week. Just give me a gap in between. I mean, I hate to, but I don't know. I'm not gonna make that decision now. We'll see how things go. Keys will be distributed amongst playtesters in order to find bugs and improve the game. All right. Okay, keys are requested. So we're gaming. There's a Big Wiggins December recap. Oh yeah. Thank you for the spin. I'm just gonna send messages to you guys on Discord, which is why I asked for your Discord usernames. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through and DM all you guys. I might get like Zach to also distribute some too, just because when I do all of them and I send like 30 messages to 30 new people, it like gets angry at me. Discord's like, stop what you're doing. But yeah, Zach can also distribute keys, so it'll be one of us. But yeah, we could do some kind of like automated email system or something, but honestly, I think there's not enough people signed up for that to matter. With Starground, that playtest got quite large. What I should have done for Starground is do a first little initial small playtest and then do the Steam playtesting feature. That would have been better, but that's what we're gonna do for these games. There's a kind of a exclusive pre-alpha thing, and then we open it up to everybody. So yeah. We filled out, right? Yeah, you should be all good. And if there's any issues or somebody doesn't get a key or something, just let me know. We'll figure it out. Anyways, how long have you been working on this game, Starground? Yeah, this is, we've been working on this one for over 2 years now. We're just working away at multiplayer issues. Yeah, I've been testing on in this big world, and it seems like everything works out. I just have to make sure that the way that we send over the conveyor data is, you know, chill. Yeah, essentially I just need to kind of copy. I almost want to make a standardized function for just sending over a packet with data. I'm trying to think how I could do this, you know. I don't know. I'll figure that out later if I do this pattern again. Right now I kind of just want to go ahead and do it. Well, I realize now there's no reason for me to shuffle these, because it reliably gets there. We don't do that thing anymore where we like send it multiple times, so yeah, just get rid of that. So I have a thing called queued packets. This is what we use. I'll just do it kind of the same way, right? So an index requester ID right there. And don't worry about that anymore. Okay. Chat app doesn't want you to chat. Yeah. It's just like an anti-bot measure. I get why they're doing it, but it is a little annoying though. Is the map random for when you first play? Yeah, the seed is always randomized. You can choose the seed and stuff, so you can do the same one if you want and customize like the generation. But otherwise it's just starts with a random seed. All right, so we're gonna do basically just all the same stuff in here. Although there is more that we have to send over. I'm just gonna copy this whole function essentially, and we're just gonna do it again. I think this is the easiest way. And the only thing that really matters is just like this stuff. And we're looping through data. So let's comment all that out. So for conveyor and data. And we don't have to worry about regions with this one. So that is something that's nice. So we can just say total size is equal to data.size. We're not looping through regions. Okay. Which means we don't really need a list of packets. I'm just thinking how I want to do this. We'll figure it out. And I guess the stuff at the end didn't happen? Okay. I just forgot to copy it. Alright. So request ID. I don't know why these ones are complaining. Oh, because tile packet received. This has to be conveyor packet. Or receive conveyor packet. In this, we don't really have to worry about that. The conveyors can just come whenever, so we're just gonna ignore that part. With the terrain, it's kind of like you have to make sure that all of that gets sent first before you generate. But the conveyors is just if they show up when they show up. So, should be okay. And I'll say right here, conveyors requested from 0. So up to the top, so it is a little more simple. All right, let's continue on. See, now we don't have to like do this. We literally just push back our packet. Push back packet. Instead of all this other garbage with it, right? We don't need tile ID. So now we're just going to say packet is equal to, and then fill out all the info that we need. So there's a bunch of different things that we need to know, which is all this down here. So we need to know the position. Conveyor.position. We need to know the item ID. Conveyor.item ID. We need to know the direction. Is conveyor or this. This is really less so like the angle or the direction. It's like the angle. What do I call it? Rotation. And then tier, and then that's it. Right, tier. I think that's everything. The last one is just always set to true. What is that one? It's like initial, which it is. What does that even matter? What does initial do? Oh, I think it just stops the effects from playing. Yeah. All right, so that should be it. Should be easy enough. So this is all the info that we send over. I don't know why it's complaining though. Conveyor and data. Did I send out the keys yet? Not yet. I just requested them, so they're on their way now. And we'll be doing that shortly. I still have to get the build up, and I there's a couple things I need to kind of wrap up so that I can make sure it's all good to go. But yeah. I mean, request conveyor data is not declared. Oh, right. There we go. Okay, cannot find in a vector 2i. Oh, we have to say var conveyor is equal to data at index coordinate. Okay. Then don't worry about this guy. Just push that back as packet. Alright, we're getting there. And then we have packet received, which is a much more simple function. Conveyor packet received. And then this one just sends the next. Hey, Big Jack, thank you so much for the sub. 18 months, that's crazy. Let's thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, but how's it going? Welcome in. Good evening. Hey, what's up, Ryan? Welcome in. Yeah, thank you very much. I do really appreciate it. Oh, right. This happens on the server, so that's why it does. And then we have sent packets. Okay. Just gonna get rid of all this stuff. I don't really care about it anymore. Keep that there. How's it going? It's going good. I think I've finally figured out, like, the way to fix the multiplayer issues, so I'm going through it right now. I'm getting it set up. It's just that we were calling too many RPCs, so it tends to break things. I am now doing a queued packet system where I send one packet, wait until the client says, hey, the packet is all good, and then I send another one. Because otherwise, if I just try and shoot them all at the same time, it's too many packets. So, my Twitch bugs, I miss if you answer me. Oh, yeah, it's all good. But yeah, I said I have not sent out the keys yet. I just requested them on Steam, so usually it happens really quick. I'll probably get them by like the end of the day, and if not, we'll get them tomorrow, I'm sure. But yeah, then I will put up the build, and we'll start playtesting. But yeah, I should show in here that like they're in transit or whatever. They're both pending. So yeah, we're just gonna wait for those. I'm glad you're able to figure it out. Yeah, I am very glad I was able to figure it out. So I was getting tired of it, not gonna lie. Alright, so let's see if we're all good here then. So, initial function call, request conveyor data. Conveyor is requested from blah blah blah. Which, why don't I just do this and then put requester ID? It's more efficient, guys. Oops. Alright. You get the total size, packets, and each packet. Which we don't even need to keep track of packet now, really. So just get rid of that. And say var packet is that. Oh, well, is it because I need to do... No, that's packets. Yeah, we should be okay. What is with the order here? Is that how it is over here? No, it doesn't seem right. Oh yeah, I say packet chord is equal to that. See, I don't do that. Let's see, do I need a single packet? Do I need packets? Not really. I guess I do. I guess I will need all this. Okay, so this is the function that gets called after the looping is done. So we say loop through all. If it's greater than that, go ahead and push it. Yeah. So I do need to define var packet type dictionary is equal to an empty packet. All right. So we loop through each conveyor belt, get our conveyor, build our packet. Well, this is just part of our packet. This really should be like packet entry because it's confusing when I say packet. Right? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. So, packets is an array. That's all of our packets. Now we just say packet, and then say packet at index coordinate is all that stuff. That's what I need to do. Okay, anyways, let's see. I don't really care what coordinate is. Whatever, I guess we could then drop position there. Okay. And that should be the position of the conveyor. Yeah. Alright, anyways, we build our packet. We add that to this, so that's a new entry in there. We check the size of the packet. If it's greater than that, we push it back and clear it. Otherwise, we push back the final remaining packet. Now, for queued packets, we have our sent packets, our total size, how many packets we should receive, and then the actual packets, which is now a list, an array of our packets. So I think that's everything there. And then we send that first initial packet, so conveyor packet received, just to basically say, hey, we basically have a packet here. And then here, this is going to be like that. All right, so over here, this is when we receive a packet or send a new one. Request ID is equal to -1. Yeah, then get our requester ID. Packets is going to be queued packets, not get requester ID. So yeah, it's going to send all this stuff. If it's invalid, return. Okay, if sent packets is less than packets.size, then we go ahead and say get our next packet at index, send the packet over right here. So we don't need any of this stuff. We don't send region ID. We just send data, size, and then increment send packets. So now over here, we're going to have data, size, packet data, size. Now we're going to loop through. So and just to copy some code over here, send tile packet. I just want to see how I'm doing it. It's really easy though. I just loop through and say, hey, we're good to go. Don't care about that. Don't care about the or I do send the received thing back. So now we say var call this call data. We just call it conveyor data. Say packet is equal to, or it's not a packet. Info is equal to conveyor data. All right, position and data. We say var conveyor is equal to data.getPosition. And now instead of saying that, we call create conveyor. So we're going to do position, conveyor to item ID. That should be good. We don't need to pass an ID now. Get rid of that. Tile count, which we don't really need to worry about that. And this should be conveyor packet received. Yeah, you know, I don't even really care what the size is on this one because I don't like, it's not waiting for a certain amount to be delivered. So it doesn't matter. I mean, I guess I can just keep track of it. So we could say var conveyor count is equal to 0. Increase it by 1. So info. And info.get data. Now we can say conveyor count against the size variable. All right, so I think that's everything. We'll go through the logic one more time. I get a trim, looking smooth. Thank you. I did not get a trim. But I think as my hair starts to get longer, it kind of like, it's like there's more weight pulling my hair down flatter, I feel like. So I think that might be what it is. I don't know how long I'm gonna grow my hair for. Maybe we'll keep going for a little bit. Get it down to shoulder level. I mean, it's getting there. It's like down to my neck here. But once it gets down past that, then it'll, I guess I'll just bring it in front. I don't know. I've never had hair that long, so I don't even know. I've had like long-ish hair before, but I haven't tried that hard. And it looks, yeah, it's like in the back, it's just the way that I brush it, and when I put my headphones on, I push it back. But it's down, yeah, it's touching my collar back here. I think it'll be more obvious once I grow it out a little more. Stopped getting haircuts in 2017, now one length down to my waist. Oh, that's crazy, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how long I'd want to go with it. I think once it gets to like shoulder level, that's where I'd cut it. I think any longer than that, it would probably start getting a little annoying. But I don't know. I think my issue in the past is just the way that I've brushed my hair. You know, usually with long hair, it starts to get in the way and I hate it. But it's because I used to like brush my hair in front of my face. So obviously I hit a certain point and then it's stupid. So yeah. But I think once it gets long enough and if I brush it back out of the way, then it's chill. Yeah, the wing stage is hell. Yeah. It does suck. But once I get out of it, it'll be fine. Stop getting them around them. It's not quite that long. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'll try it. Yeah, I've never really gone or had hair longer than like, I don't know, down to the collar. So, see on your profile pic. Let's see. Hey yo, yeah, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, it takes a lot of dedication to grow hair out that long. And I've noticed it's a lot to maintain too. Even just at the length I'm at now, it's not really that long. But like, applying shampoo and conditioner takes significantly longer. So, when my hair is short, like when I got that buzz cut, it's just like, boom, and I'm done. So, it was, yeah, in like the most epic way. It's sick. Gets better once it can hold itself straight under its own weight. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like I'm like almost getting to that point. It's still a little fluffy. but it's not as bad as it was like a few months ago. It used to be more insane. Anyways, let's run through this logic one final time. So queued packets, we run request conveyor data. Blah, blah. We loop through the data, start building our packet list. So we get our conveyor, build the packet. And this is saying at that coordinate, add this entry to the packet. So we convert that into bytes. If it's greater than that, then push it back. Otherwise, if it never reaches this count, we push back the end size. So now in queued packets, we have send packets, total size and packets. And then we send the initial one. So that'll be like, okay. Blah, blah, blah. Get our requested one if it's less than that. So we do that, increment our send packets. And then in send conveyor packet, now we have... we convert it back into a variable from bytes. Receive the packet. For position and info. So we're going to get our conveyor. We're going to call the create conveyor function. Add to our conveyor count. And say that we received a conveyor. Alright. Hopefully this all works. The only thing I can imagine that may be an issue is just like... I mean, that should be fine since we only ever use that once. Like, whenever you load into a new game, this stuff gets reset. Imagine it would be the same thing over in here too with tile count. Although, just to be safe, I think I'm going to go into game reset. And whenever this is called, I want to reset all of our dictionaries and stuff, so I just want to say queued packets.clear, and then also tile count is equal to 0 again. Just so that that's not an issue. Alright. Let's, Also, I fixed a bug with the conveyor tunnel. Apparently, there's a crash that happened, so... Oops, Fox. Fixed an issue where conveyor tunnels sometimes crashed the game. Packet would be dropped with synchronizing land tiles and conveyors. Game now uses a packet grouping system to improve reliability. And those are the main things. All right, let's go ahead and push these changes, and then I think that should be everything. We don't need to do the shuffling anymore there. Then this does all the funny stuff. All right. Set up packet. Commit those files. And then we've got the server open over here. So, boom. Push the origin. I had long hair in my youth, and in 1993 cut it short. Yeah, like business cut, and had that till 2017. Okay. Thanks, family members call me Gandalf. Yeah. Grown out from my biker retirement. Now I just need to learn how to ride a motorcycle. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's discard these changes. All right, pull the changes. So hopefully what we're going to see is nothing at all. That's the idea. Let's restart the games. And then ideally what we see is person joins, we see all the print statements, conveyors received, and then everything is good. Let's see what happens. Come on. Go. Load. let's see, we're gonna do it through Steam. I've been just testing through Steam because almost everybody does it through Steam anyways, so it's like, seems like a good idea to just actually test stuff normally. So yes world, load that up. Invite myself. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the bug that was happening on the dedicated server, the public server. I don't know why I was able to connect. Maybe it's just that my internet handled it better, downloading all the packets or something, but yeah. All right, join game. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm looking at the messages in here. Oh, game crashed. Awesome. Okay, so what happened? Invalid access to property or key data on a base object of type dictionary. It's because I said, what is this on? Packet? Oh yeah, it's because I'm doing it stupid. The packet is what it is. I don't say packet.data. Okay. That would explain it. Okay, server's okay, but we have to reconnect on the client now. Let's try this again. I'm trying to get this stuff done quick so that we can actually do some deadlift stuff, because I would like to. Okay, let's see. Requesting tile data, which it should do all good. Boom, first packet. Okay. So it's requesting all the conveyor things. It is sending packets of the conveyors. But it did not go good. So I wonder what happened there. The tiles it gave up. See, this is what happens when you send over too many RPCs. It just dies. It's not really sending these packets over properly. Of size 8, that doesn't make any sense. Right? So sending packet. So let's see, on packet received over here. Or on this one, technically. So we're going to receive that, convert it back into a variable. Yeah, that should be the size of the packets. I don't know why it's showing that it's the size of 8. That's not correct. So we got to figure that out. So conveyor data. So however we're building conveyor data is wrong. Let's go over in here. So I should be sending var to bytes packet, which is at packet packets, which is defined over here, dot packets at index sent packets. That should be okay. So the only other thing I can think of is just the way that I'm building it in here. So total size is data.size. Very interesting. This pixel art, team artist, or asset packs, / placeholder art. I do all of the art for the game, so all of these in-game sprites are done by me. I don't really use any asset packs or anything. I've gotten so fast at making pixel art that it's just like I can just bang out a sprite in like a couple minutes, so might as well just... I don't really do programmer art, I just make the final art because it's just, why not? Yeah, I did some pixel art commissions for a couple years before working on Starground, so I do have a lot of experience already doing pixel art. And of course, I've just been making pixel art years even before that. It's probably been definitely over 10 years. So I've been doing it for a while. Oh, that's funny. I'm not gonna worry about that. Yeah, all of the art. The only thing I don't do sometimes is like a couple shaders in the game are not me. Like these planets are a shader. They're not assets, like they're not sprites. That's pretty much one of the only things in the game that's not completely drawn by me. I mean, I still go through and configure the the shader parameters and stuff, so it's not like it's just a complete preset. But it's not like I'm going through and actually drawing this stuff. Sometimes I do draw the planets, though, for some of the researches. Like you can see in here, this little planet icon right here. It's probably hard to see on stream, but I did draw that. But yeah. So thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Yeah, I always really enjoy doing the assets for this game. It's just easy and fun. I think definitely my favorite part about Starground is the drawing. Everything else kind of sucks. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what is going on here. So it looks like it should be sending like 8 packets, but it's just not. Let's go ahead and when we receive a packet, I want to see what we're actually getting. Because something seems a little suspicious. So let's go into here. Go into here. Or not in there, it's inside of a conveyor. Conveyors.gd. And when we receive the packet, let's send their packet. I'm gonna print out what is our actual packet about. So let's try that again. It'll connect again. Game. Oh, it says I'm already connected. Right, I have to quit out because it's broken. So I'm primarily an artist myself. Well, you guys want to be solo game dev. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely doable. I think it's just important, like, if you're doing it completely by yourself, it's always a good idea to, okay, that packet I'm receiving is empty, so something's obviously wrong here. Yeah, I think it's always good to pick, like, an art style you're really familiar with, so it's easy to... You can do all the assets really easily, and then focus more on the programming if you're from an art background. Yeah, that's awesome. I do wish you the best of luck. Let's see what's going on here. So it's like sending like empty packets or something. I don't know why. Because it should be building this. So we send, let me just make sure I'm doing all the right stuff. So packet is our current packet. Oh, it's because I'm looping through the wrong thing, aren't I? What I'm doing here is I'm sending packets. Down when I send this packet, I realize what I'm doing, I think, is sending... Yeah, I'm not sending the right thing. Also, where is this from? Packet. Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, so, I mean, it should be okay. Packets... I'm gonna rename this to queued packet, so it's a little more obvious what the heck I'm talking about in here. Then rename that to packets. Okay. Yeah, making NES Legend style, or Legend of Zelda style game. So we're 6 months in. Nice, that's awesome. I want to watch a demo soon. Love doing pixel art. Yeah, it's really fun. I've always really enjoyed it. It's something about like I don't know. It's easier for me, I feel like, compared to something like regular full vector art or whatever. I like having that very fine control over like, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to be consistent because it's like a pixel is always going to be the same size relative to every other pixel. Whereas like when you're doing regular art, sometimes it's like you draw an outline, thickness could be whatever. It's more, I feel like it's just a lot more to manage. I've always enjoyed pixel art more. Yeah. Done vector art and 3D art animation professionally. I prefer pixel art. Ah, yeah, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've done some regular art stuff too in the past, but I just like, I don't know. Pixel art just clicks with me better. The way that I do pixel art usually is kind of like, almost like painting. And I think that method works well for me. Where like, I block out big regions of stuff and then go in and fill in the details. I feel like because of that, I would actually really enjoy painting versus like, you know, pencil and stuff. Because it's that thing of just like big blob and then going through and filling out smaller blobs and then smaller blobs until all of a sudden it's like built up. That's just the way I like to draw. I think it's kind of fun. Let's look you how to code your own game protocol for secure server authority multiplayer. It's definitely tricky. I think the big thing about making multiplayer secure is just make sure that you're verifying. Like, first off, don't give clients any control if you're really worried about like security. So like if you have somebody sending over info to the server requesting something, like let's say, let's do just a little square. People tend to overcomplicate security, but really at the end of the day, it's a very simple concept. So you have your server here, it's chilling. And then your client is going to be sending over a bunch of info to your server, like your position or speed or whatever. All the server has to do to make it secure is just like, before you just accept what's coming in from the client, just read it and be like, okay, is this actually what I'm expecting? And then if it's like not what the server is expecting, just reject it. And now your server is secure. That's really all you have to do. And this is in terms of gaming. Obviously, it's a much different process when you're dealing with like passwords and stuff. That's like, you do actually need encryption and more advanced methods of verifying stuff. But when it comes to games, you're just sending over a packet of bits and just make sure that it's about what it should be. Because then if like somebody sends over something weird, like pretend they modify their client and send over like a virus in this packet or something, the server can kind of read the bits and be like, hey, this isn't the format I want, and then just reject it. So that's the way to do it. Then you can make sure that the server is always protected. It's got this like shield around it that verifies all the packets that come into it. And then likewise, clients can then trust packets that come from the server, right? If it's already been verified and everything's good, then the server can like send some info over back to another player. And it always has like the true state of what's happening in the game. So that's the way to do it. Just make sure that you don't do, if you want to be secure, and I'll talk about more on this in a second. Don't ever do this. Don't send packets between clients if you want to be truly secure, because you can't verify these unless you do some own verification on the client also. But it's just so much easier to never let that happen. Just keep a server authoritative structure. Only pass in packets from client to server and from server to client like this. Because that way you can always verify everything and keep server authoritative and keep a accurate state of the game only on the server. That's how almost all like FPSs and stuff do it. Games where the accuracy of your inputs and like you have to verify that you're not cheating. That's how that works, is they have game servers that get all the traffic and make sure that it's safe and good and normal. Because then you can check, like, if say somebody's speed hacking or whatever, the server will be running over here its own internal calculations of each player, you know, and what their speed should be and stuff like that. So if a player sends over a packet saying, hey, I'm going 1 billion miles per second, then the server is going to read it and say, okay, let me make sure that it's close enough to what I calculated. And then they're going to be like, hey, man, this isn't close to what it should be at all. And then the server knows, okay, you're cheating. So that's how anti-cheat works. But of course you have to be careful with that, because you get cases too where what if there's a big like drop between packets, right? So what if it's been 5 seconds since the last packet's been sent? That new position's gonna be way larger than what the server calculated. So you have to be careful with stuff like that. Like, you can do time-based stuff, like given 5 seconds, like just keeping track of all the different things. There's a lot of ways to do that kind of verification, and that's where security stuff becomes more of a creative process, just trying to think of the ways to do that in the best way for your own game. It's going to vary a lot depending on what kind of game it is. But for position stuff, it's usually pretty easy to do. Just, yeah, it's basically just client-side prediction. All that really involves is just saying, all right, what was the last velocity that was sent by the client? So the server stores the velocity in here, uses that velocity to calculate a predicted velocity. So if the new distance is less than the predicted velocity, then you know that it's a valid input. Otherwise, if somehow the client is trying to move faster than what the server calculated, you know that they're cheating, right? So that's the way to do it. Just having like the server do its own internal calculations of things. But yeah, anyways, you can do that if you care a lot about security and keeping things fair for everybody. But truth is, if you're making a multiplayer game and it's not like a very competitive thing, don't worry about it. Like in Starground, I do all sorts of between peer communication. Most of the game is peer-to-peer. I still have the important stuff running only on the server, like items and inventories and conveyor belts, but I do a lot of peer-to-peer. This is sort of just like, I guess what you'd call like a mixed networking method, where like you just kind of got packets going everywhere. There's stuff going directly to the server and from the server to clients like that, and then there's also packets going from and to clients themselves. It works. It's easier to program. I mean, some people might disagree, but I think it's not too bad. Okay, I want to figure out what is going on here with these packets. So I'm going to print out what packets is. Keep the game open still. Let's try joining again. There's I think I'm formatting the packet wrong or something, because it's sending an empty dictionary, which is not correct. So let's see what it's trying to request over here. Okay. So it is sending just an empty dictionary, which is definitely not correct. So why? Let's figure that out. So packets apparently is just empty. So that should be it. Queued packet. So we get queued packets, requester ID. Should we have up here? Okay. So let's print out what that is. I just want to make sure. That should have the size of the packet, all the info that we put up here, the number of packets sent, the size, and then the list of our packets. So let's try connecting again and see what that prints out. I think what's going wrong then is up in our packet building process. There's something that we're doing incorrectly. Yeah, so it shows sent packets, total size, and then packets is a bunch of empty dictionaries for some reason. So clearly there's something wrong. But you can see total size is correct. And sent packets seems like good. So yeah, it should be sending like 8 packets of conveyors. So why are we building it wrong? So in here, so we have packet as a dictionary. Okay. For coordinate in data, conveyor, we see packet at that coordinate is equal to this info. Then I'm checking. Oh. I'm not duplicating the packet. This is what's happening here. See, before I was saying duplicate deep. What happens is that I push it back, but then I called packet clear, so the packet doesn't actually have any data in it anymore because it's the same reference to the same packet. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's see. So welcome in. Have I fixed multiplayer? I think I know what the problem is, so we're working on it right now. I'm just making some changes to get this all reliable and stable. Let's see what happens. Requesting tile data. And then it dies because it says item ID was not valid. Okay, so what do we get here? Oh, right. We're looping through multiple... No, this is one packet. So we get all of this info in here, as you can see. I don't know why item ID... What was the data that we were checking? You can see conveyor. Item ID right there. Oh, I had it lowercase. Funny. I guess. Yeah, we have item ID, rotation, and tier. Okay. I see. So we don't have to say that, we just say conveyor.rotation. And then conveyor.tier. Alright, let's try this again. Also, I realized I should have just made that change over here and commit them. It's okay. I'm just gonna test it really quick like that. Join again. So we got ads going on. My apologies, gamers. Okay, let's see what happens. Tiles requested. Oh. Nope, it died. Let's figure out what's going on. What I might have to do is wait until the terrain is grabbed until I request the tile data, which I think might be more reliable that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and do another commit here just to keep everything consistent. So down in here with conveyors, now instead of saying conveyor that, I'm just going to do this. Oops. Conveyor.rotation, conveyor.tier. Okay. This should all be good. And then what did I do over here then? Yeah, I'm just printing the info. Should be all good. And I think all of this is just nothing. Alright, so we can discard all those changes. So in here, on my regular computer, we've got... Yeah, so I duplicate the packets now. Fix that. Rename all that stuff so it's more obvious what I'm saying. Alright. So, and then let's also, while we're here, I want to only request those after we're done requesting our tile data, so we're not requesting both of them at the same time. Right? So now in conveyor data, I think I just say this on ready, probably. Yeah, request conveyor data. I think on here I'm gonna say await global dot world generated, and then continue the rest of this. All right. And then does this have process? See, this is the only thing though. I have to be careful about that because it's gonna like crash. I don't want it to do anything until it's fully ready. I mean, I guess we can do all that stuff, but then just await for world generated when we actually request our tile data like that. That would be okay. All right, so that should hopefully fix all that. I'm gonna update this now. Fix conveyor packets and wait for world generation. So ads are over. Very sorry about that, gamers. I wish I could go to Twitch HQ and destroy the ad servers. Let's discard that. Fetch the origin. Pull the origin. And now it's complaining. Okay, can't find class. We're gonna restart the editor over here. I wish it would stop making changes to the import files. I'm getting tired of it. I don't know why it does that. Maybe it's just like a I don't know, man. Computer specific thing. And then, am I still sending over or printing stuff in here? Because I kind of don't want to do that. It's gonna die. Okay, it just says sending packet. That should be okay. Alrighty, guys. Here we go. Let's try again. I'm gonna restart the game over here because it's... Sometimes if you leave the game open and make changes, weird things happen. Oh, I can't wait to all this stupid multiplayer stuff. It's gonna be so lovely working on Deadlift. There's definitely tricky things about Deadlift, but man, just in general though, way easier. Just gonna go online mode, so I want to keep inviting. Sometimes I go invisible when I'm opening and closing the game a billion times because I don't want to bother everybody. Alright, requesting tile data. Come on, man. It's receiving the tile packets, and it dies. So I don't know why that happened. That sucks, dude. I thought I figured it out. Because I was testing it, and it was fine. I was like, oh, let's go. And now it's not. So it's complaining about bunch of invalid synchronizer stuff in here. I don't know though, like what did it then. Let me check the RPCs because you can see now our conveyors node is barely sending any outgoing RPCs. I mean, obviously it's still sending a bunch, but not like nothing like it was before. Before, when I tested this and I enable the profiler, it sends out like 200,000 RPCs like instantly, which is insane. And you can see all the ones in here. There's nothing really going on. These are like the synchronizers. And you can see what the size is on these. I mean, almost all of these are 0, because it only happens on a need-to basis with the synchronizers. Some of these are a little bit larger, like 12 bits or bytes. That's nothing. Okay. So why didn't this work this time? I don't know. It worked when I added a delay. Just trying to think what happened. Maybe I should, like, wait. Like, when I first join and I start doing my requesting of stuff. Like, if I'm gonna say in here and request all this stuff, maybe I should, like, await get tree dot, like, physics frame or something. Just to give the game a second to, like, figure itself out. I don't know. Let's try it again, though. He's really fighting you. It is, dude. It sucks right now. It's just because Starground is such a big game. It would be so easy to do multiplayer like this if, like, the terrain modification was minimal. I mean, to be fair, I'm stress testing it on the biggest, like, one of the biggest saves I have, but it's still, like, obviously I want the game to work with all sizes of games. So, and it just breaks. It's still breaking. I do see there are some errors being logged. I wonder what it's saying in here. I could click on it. Oh, sometimes I have to close the game first. Okay, it's like... Oh, there we go. What is this? An update calling? Mission OBJ is true. I don't know what that is. It's at line 46. If node is object resource. I'll just do this if is instance valid node. Or continue or whatever. Let's just do that. I don't think it'll do anything, but... let me go put that down really quick. Fix an issue where the game would attempt to call invalid objects. Okay. These are worst kind of dev issues to deal with. Something you think is a simple fix and it just turns out a giant rabbit hole. It just gets deeper and deeper. Yeah. It sucks. It's just the worst. This has been the most annoying stupid bug ever for Starground. Just all the little multiplayer quirks, and it sucks because it seems like it's just amplified when you connect through Steam. There is also Steam Relay, which you think would be a good idea, but maybe we go disable it because it's not enabled by default. So maybe the current implementation of server relay is not good. So I might just boom delete that and stop using server relay. Something so crucial, you can't just leave it. I know, that's the thing. It sucks. Let's try this again. Yeah, I always hate obstacles like this because you're just kind of left with like, all right, I can't not do it. So I guess I'm just gonna, this is the only thing I can work on. Because if I work on anything else, I'm just wasting time. I'm gonna have to go back to this eventually. Yeah, it's frustrating. But I'm really hoping that we can get it worked out. We're definitely closer. I mean, even if these changes don't fix it, it's still a good idea to optimize our packet sending anyways. But it's just like, it's hard. Let's try this again. I know that we are receiving proper packets at least. It's just still, it's getting caught up on the terrain generation stage, and I don't know why. We're a lot closer than when we first encountered this. Definitely, yeah. We're inching ever closer. I'm gonna join again. I do have a feeling that Steam Relay might potentially be causing issues, but it's hard to say. You see, I don't know what's going on. It just receives the first packet, right? Receive packet of size 50,000. And then that's it. it dies. Because it's just these invalid synchronizers. It's very frustrating. Maybe it's just that the packets are too large. It seems like it's like you have to. It's a fine line between packet size and packet quantity. So maybe on Quest tile data, because I was testing with a smaller packet size and it seemed to be a little more reliable. Maybe we drop down to like 10,000 packet size. Force the synchronizer update. Synchronizers are kind of a finicky thing. There's not really, like, they're meant to be very easy, and they are very easy to set up, but I think sometimes that ease kind of comes at the cost of, you know, issues like this, where I can't really, like, I can't control them very well. Okay, it's still just immediately, okay, it did receive 2, oh, it is receiving packets. We can also see, though, that there's a lot of errors being thrown, but it's still receiving packets. I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. And it received all the packets. So it calls tiles are ready. But then nothing ever happens. So this is the issue I keep running into. It's just all the synchronizers just die and break. It's extremely frustrating. Dang. I was like hopeful. I thought I fixed it. Because I was testing it and it was fine. This is what sucks too. Is you make a change and then everything is working perfectly for the next like 10 times that you try it. And so you think to yourself, oh, this must have actually fixed something then, right? But then when you get down to it, you realize, oh, this didn't fix anything. And it just sucks. So when we send all these, it's gonna say tiles are ready. And then in here, it's gonna admit tiles are ready. And then in initialize game, it should be like beginning the next step. But the problem is now we're not getting our synchronized world generation info because all the synchronizers decide to die. You can disable the synchronizer and only enable it when the packets are there. Well, unfortunately, I've realized that the only way to send an RPC is with a synchronizer. So it's really annoying. I mean, I could temporarily pause the synchronizer on every object in the game, but that's a lot of objects, a lot of synchronizers I have to manage. So I'd have to make like a custom synchronizer class that has some fancy logic for visibility filters. That's a lot of work. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what to do here. Because I feel like it works on a slightly smaller save. If we go into Chronopolis, this one, it usually works fine. I think it's just only when we have such an enormous save is when things start to break down. So if I join this one, we can see sending packet, tiles are ready, sending conveyors, boom. Everybody connected and it's all good. So at least at a minimum, that's definitely an improvement because before you weren't able to join this world, right? There's not very many modified tiles here, but there's enough for it to, apparently it used to cause issues. So I don't know what it is. Is it the packets that I'm sending? Like, or is it the RPC calls? Yeah, I am sending packets in large chunks. I'm sending them in chunks of like 50,000, which should be completely fine, right? There's like a value that denotes the packet size limit. And I have that set to 65,000, which is the default, which is a pretty reasonable packet size. Anything larger than that, you run the risk of it being dropped, I think, or like timing out. But we should be okay. All this stuff. Yeah, it's in like limits and network or whatever. In here. And it's in one of these. Yeah, the max buffer. So at a power of 16, that means it's 16 bits, which is 65,000 bytes. So that's our network packet size limit. So, I mean, our system totally works like normally, because we can see tiles requested, sending packet, conveyors requested, sending packet, and then we verify the player, blah, 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 and finish all of our stuff. So, like, you'd think it'd be okay. It's annoying, though. We can try, there must be like a certain size of save where everything breaks, you know? If we go to, I wonder if this save, how this save would manage. Let's try it. It'll probably work fine. It might just be once the world gets too big and you're sending too many RPCs, it just can't handle it anymore, you know? Because I joined this one just fine. It doesn't show all of the things, though, which is interesting. Like, it shows that I only received 482 out of 570 conveyors. Which I don't know if that's actually true or not. Because it said... Okay, so what happened here? ID connected, conveyors requested, sending packet. I guess it just sent one packet. I mean, I think I see all of the conveyors around here. I don't see nearly 100 missing. Unless it's conveyors on a different planet, which is possible. Let's go over to a different planet, like Tyria. Oh, you meant the byte array that I prepare? Yeah, that's the same size as the packet or whatever. It's going to be up to 50,000. That basically is the packet. There's no conveyors here. So I think it sent all the conveyors, even though it doesn't show that I got all of them. 482 out of 570. I think that might just be... I think we might be reporting the conveyor count wrong. Let's figure out what we're doing. Let's go into conveyors. Because I'm definitely pushing back that last packet. Oh! I forgot to say duplicate deep on that one also. That must be what happened. For that one. Snacky P, thank you for the follow. Okay, so that fixes that. That should hopefully fix any missing conveyors on clients. I'm sure there must be some that are missing that I don't see them anywhere, but somewhere. I can do more than 50k, but as we get closer to that, well, I've ran into this before. When you send a packet that's too large, it just sends an error saying packet is over the packet limit, and then it doesn't send. So it's pretty, it's definitely not, the error that we're getting is not packet size. I'm pretty confident in that. Because I've seen the other regular packet error before, right? It's definitely like something strange. I think it just has to do with the quantity of packets that we're sending or something. Because on a smaller save like this, everything seems fine, right? If I reconnect again and resend the packets, let's just do this again. It's small enough on these saves where we only have to send one packet, so we can see, boom, 570 conveyors received. It actually connects surprisingly quick, honestly. Yeah, all the conveyors are here. Yeah, I think it missed a bunch of these ones over here before. Well, there's a thing. It's not packet size, I'm pretty sure, because the synchronizer also throws that same error, whether it's an RPC or a synchronizer. It'll say if the packet's too large, it will complain and say packet is too large and then doesn't send it. So I know that the issue that we're getting with the larger factory is not the same issue as packet size. I think it has to do, like, I think if you send too many packets at once, the, like, connection gets overloaded. And since that save is ridiculous, I would assume that that's what's happening. We could, like, load up into one of these ones. I think I just did single player. Epic. But we're way closer. And the good thing is that people can actually, join normal-sized factories again, which is the most important part. But obviously, I'd like to make it so that these ones work too. It's just, it's hard though. This is a browser game? It is not a browser game. This is on Steam for Windows and Linux. Hopefully one day I can do Mac stuff, but all I hear is about how much it sucks, so I don't know. Alright. And then if I join on the server, I'm sure it's going to not work, but let's see what happens. Okay, it is sending packets. That'd be wild if it worked. Nope, it died. Because it just starts complaining about all this stuff. I really don't know what... I think it's just... I think it has to be some kind of RPC overload. It's the only thing I can think of. Because we can go in here and go to Network Profiler and we can see how many RPCs we're sending. I think it might have to do with RPCs coming from conveyors. Because there's a lot of outgoing RPCs right there. And all these other ones are fine, but what I could potentially do is only send RPCs for conveyors that are actually within view of the player. It's complicated, though, because I have to, like, change the way that those are sent or whatever. But it's potentially a fix. Let's, just to see if this is the issue. We're going to go into the conveyors thing, and we're going to stop sending any conveyor RPCs, right? Please read YouTube. Sorry, it's hard to read. Oh, mute that. All right, I got it open here now. Much apologies. Brazil. All right. Yeah, sorry if I don't read the YouTube chat. I don't know why I can't. It's so weird. I have YouTube open here, but it's obviously not showing YouTube stuff now, apparently, so I thought it was. That would explain why I haven't seen any messages here. Oh, it's a two-factor code. Hold up. Boom, go to there. And go get my code. I'm getting really tired, though, of not being able to read the YouTube chat. It's so frustrating, because I want to. And then in chat settings, we have embed for Twitch only. I guess it's just the way that I stream or something. It should be tying into the YouTube chat. It's extremely annoying. Yeah, sorry to anybody if I'm not reading the YouTube chat. I don't know what to do to get it to... How do I actually read it? I mean, I can go over here every single time, pop out the chat, copy the link, and then add it into OBS again every single time, but that's ridiculous. So I don't know. It's extremely frustrating. I wish there was just some kind of way to like automatically, some kind of different YouTube chat area or link I can use. I don't know. It's really annoying. But I can see it now on OBS, so should be good. Yeah, anyways, how do I fix multiplayer? It's not entirely fixed, I guess, but it's fixed for the most part. Sometimes on really big saves, it could still cause some issues with RPC. I think it's how many times we're sending RPCs. So I want to go through here and like change some of these, remove some of these RPCs. Because I feel like this might be part of what's causing our issue here. We have to go find where the conveyor is, which I think it's inside of level. Then we have like conveyors right here. So yeah, I want to go ahead and just stop all of these RPCs from being called. It sucks because I have to go through and do it on every single thing, but I don't want to have to do it, but alright, I guess let's go ahead and get rid of the RPCs. Alright, I hate to do it. So now we're gonna have to go back through and re-add them in. I guess this is the main one over here, which is add item, update visual RPC. And then remove item. Yeah, the only RPC we send over is add visual, basically. Right, well now that those are removed, the only thing though is then I have to do it over here too though. Because otherwise like the hash of the RPCs is different and then I can't connect to the server anymore. So let's try that. So it's the RPCs. I'm pretty sure that it's just the number of RPCs that we're sending over because this save is huge, right? So it doesn't happen on smaller saves, and the only difference is the quantity of RPCs. So what I'm doing right now is disabling the RPCs on purpose, and we're going to see if that makes any kind of difference. So I just got to wait for the game to load, and then we're going to join and see if it works. So I think we just need to be careful about which conveyor belt RPCs we're sending over. We can do like the initial list of all of them, but let's see what happens here. Requesting tile data. No, it still dies. So maybe it's not RPCs. I don't know anymore, man. What are we sending now in terms of RPCs? Pretty normal. Well, maybe it's a different issue. Maybe it's the quantity of synchronizers or something. Something that I'm not expecting. Oh. Let me make sure that that's all normal. Duplicate deep. Oh, there's another... Oh, wait, resave it. There we go. Now it's just that difference. Yeah, Godot does have the ability to disable synchronizers, but I'd have to go through the code of every single object with a synchronizer and do that. So that's kind of not That's super great. I'm just thinking about what we can do here. I could, I know that there is some stuff, like, I was talking to... God, I suck at remembering who it was. There's that one person on stream one time, we were talking about the, multiplayer spawning functions with the multiplayer spawner. I kind of want to explore that, because what it would allow us to do is decrease the number of synchronizers we have to add. So, okay, let's dive into this, because I would love to figure this out. It's a little, like, weird. I just need to experiment with it, but... Let me see the doc. So it's this spawn function, I think. Spawn function right here. So how does this work? Method called on all peers when a custom spawn is requested by the authority. Will receive the data parameter and should return a node that is not in the scene tree. Okay. So... But what is the data that it takes in, right? That's the question. Let's just go ahead and create one. Function object added. Right? And I just want to print out. So it should be taking in data and then return a node. And I'm just going to print data, I guess. And then on enter tree, I want to say... Turn a new node. And then in here, we're going to say... Spawn function is equal to object added. I don't know what's going to happen. But I'm curious to see. So... Let's just go ahead and do a... Instead of running it through Steam over and over, let's do this. Just easier. So I think what this theoretically should let us do is, so you just run a search for type synchronizer and add an array. Well, the issue though is that there's probably hundreds of them, and also a lot of them I don't have a script attached, so I'd have to change their types. Which means I have to go through every single scene in the entire game and replace their type, which is going to take forever and will suck. So I'm looking into doing this. This will let me just remove, if I can get this working the way I think, I can just delete a bunch of our synchronizers, like tons of them. Because most of the synchronizers in the game just do position. It just synchronizes the position and then stops, right? So if I could remove all those ones and just use this spawn function or whatever, that would be way better. Oh, I'm already... Let's use... I'm not really seeing any, Why is it still only sending a couple conveyors? That function hasn't printed anything in here. Unless what it does is it only happens on clients. But then it would be printing in here. Okay, why did it not send over the stuff again? I thought I fixed that. Did I accidentally undo it? I think that might be what happened. No. Oh. Oh, that was from before. This is the true... Okay, I did receive it. We're good. So it didn't do anything. I don't know what this... how this works. It's very, strange to me. I want to figure this out, because it seems like it would be helpful. Let's see, spawn function. So how does this work? Let's go look at like yeah, how to custom spawn with the multiplayer spawner. But I presume that this requires me to call like, okay, so I can say set spawn function. Maybe it's because it doesn't have the same function over on the client. No, it does, because we're doing local. I forgot. So why doesn't it? How does it work? Right, this is how it should work, I feel like. So you say, become host, multiplayer spawner, set spawn function. Do you really have to say dot spawn? So it's basically just the same thing as doing an RPC. I thought this was going to be better than it was. Well, that doesn't help us then. So all it's doing is just instantiate the node, then return it. So why would you even bother with this then? I guess you can just send some initial data, which is nice, but why not just do that with a synchronizer then? Okay, well, I don't think this is what I thought it was then, which is unfortunate. I thought this would have been like a function that gets called for everybody, like if an object gets created, it just automatically synchronizes some info. But it doesn't seem like that's what this does at all. So it's pretty useless for us, actually. So that's epic. Well, get rid of all that. I don't know what else to do in order to decrease our RPC count. Because I think it's just a function of how many things we have. How many objects there are, you know? But at least this change definitely helps, you know? The main thing that I want to fix and make sure is always super reliable is just loading up a game on a regular save, playing with some friends. Obviously, I want to fix the issue too for very large saves, because I want people to be able to play on any kind of world. So thank you for the follow, much appreciated. But I don't know how to do that. I'm not sure. Because then it just starts complaining about this. I don't even know if it's an RPC issue. You know, this is the thing. It's so just... It's so difficult to figure out. Like... I don't know. What is actually causing this issue? Because I've searched this a billion times. On Delta, receive... Ignoring Delta for non-authority or invalid synchronizer. And I can't ever find anything about it. It's usually just like, oh, do this thing that I'm already doing. It's just so odd. You do Discord and put your problem there. Yeah, I might have to, like... I mean, this seems like it's a Steam-specific thing. But maybe it's not. I'll probably have to send a message somewhere in the Godot server or something. But I've read through a million things in here. Authority in the multiplayer synchronizer node. Default multiplayer synchronizer node working server to client. That should be normal. Should be okay. I don't know, man. I'm just so tired of it. Because we have this multiplayer synchronizer, and this should only happen on the server, so I shouldn't have to configure anything. I tried setting update mode to physics, but that doesn't seem to actually do anything. Coding Boyd's algorithm for Scratch to make me lose my sanity. Yeah. I never really mess with Boyd's, but it seems cool. I always just see all the... usually birds or whatever. Could be anything. Seems neat, though. Okay, I removed the RPCs over here for Gar. Let's just discard all. I don't know what to do. How to simulate zombie hordes with it? Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to mess with that eventually. I mean, is it something to do with, like, the player scene? I really don't think so, because it happens before I do any, like, player verification step. So there's no, like, it doesn't matter. Server synchronize, which should say on enter tree, set it to 1. Then we have the other player synchronizer. But I don't have to do any weird configurations on that one. I don't know. Like, I've already done this. Like, this isn't my error. And this is what sucks, is that this error usually, from what I've seen in the past, happens for very stupid reasons. Like this one, the solution was adding not server. Like, obviously. Is it because I'm, like, adding a node that already exists, or, like, is in the spawn list on the server or something? I don't know how that would work, though. Because I really don't think I am. Could be that I'm freeing a node on the client, but I doubt it. I don't know. I'm just so tired of it. Jeez. Yeah, it's just all like... Because this could mean anything. There's so many ways that this issue happens. Like idea 3 not found. Parameter oid. Whatever that means. Apparently this was like a bug that was already fixed. Yeah. Oh. This is just the file for the scene replication. So that's nothing. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know what to do about this. The only thing I could think of is that for some reason, on some step, the client's doing something weird that it shouldn't be doing. Like, we can go through and step through every little thing in here. We initialize the game. We say load game. That's going to generate a world. It's going to create a world node. And I'm pretty dang sure that world is not in our synchronization list, because the world is the thing with the spawner. So it's definitely not in there. You can go into the spawner table, see what's in here by default. But you can see world commented out. There's only one match of world. I really don't think the client's creating any of this stuff. Decorations. Tree, rock, bee, dungeon, poison, power network node. Ugh. None of that should be happening. Unless it is, though. I don't know. But how would that even happen? When he's back into here, we do initialize game. It's just going to go straight down here because there is no save. So it's going to go boom, reset the game. And since none of this, so it just says game reset. In-game is going to be true. So it's going to... create the world, if create world, because create world is set to true by default. I say game, create the game, and in game is whatever. So that's that step. Back to initialize game. So it's just going to go ahead and immediately create the world. Maybe I just need to create the world sooner or something. I've tried doing that though in the past and it just tends to break everything. I don't know why. Because I think when I create the world with the spawner before I'm connected to the client or the server, it like doesn't work. So I don't think that's gonna do anything. Because I tried that a long time ago. Well, a super long time ago, a couple months ago. So we request the tile data. Just gonna do all that. We're not creating or deleting any nodes. Same with verify player. Did I get rid of request conveyor? Or no, that's inside of conveyors, isn't it? It's like up here and ready. I say request conveyor data RPC ID 1. So I wait for it to generate. It seems like it's just immediately, as soon as I send this first RPC, that's where everything dies. Which doesn't make any sense. I don't know why that happens. I'm not doing anything weird in here. So I received the first packet in here. Wherever it is. Send tile packet. Do all that stuff. I just add it. I say global main, modified tiles. Add it into there. Nothing weird. And I just send the message back. The thing is that it works. Right? When I join on a reasonably sized save, there's no issues. So obviously there's something that is different between the big ones and the small ones. that is causing the issue. Where did they set it back to max channels? Shouldn't be doing that. Let's keep that at default. Okay, weird. So conveyors is good, and then player. What did I even do in player? Okay. I didn't do anything in there, but I guess that's fine. I gotta figure this out. I'm so tired of this issue. Let's discard all. Make sure we're on up to date. I want to like just start experimenting with different objects. Like maybe there's a specific object causing this issue. But I don't know what that would be. I don't know, man. So if we go back to Yes World, there's got to be, if that is the case, there must be a specific building or something causing it to not work. I don't know what building that would be. Usually if it's some kind of like synchronizer issue or something, it will say, right? But it doesn't in this case. Like if it's like a mismatch, it's trying to synchronize a variable that doesn't exist or something, it'll be like, hey, this variable doesn't exist. But in this case, it doesn't tell me anything. Okay, so it's still crashing, obviously, or is it not working? We can just start blowing everything up. Like, is it something to do with a specific kind of thing? I really don't think it's items on the ground, because they don't really do a whole lot. We do have a hydrogen bomb. We could just start going around and destroying everything. I'm just trying to think what object would potentially cause issues. Because it can't be any object that I've tested on the other save. If that is the case here. Is there any kind of weird object around that would be bad? I'm just thinking here. So there's animals. Elevators, animals. We can just start adding in one of everything. I guess. And just keep going. Let's just add, yeah, one of every building. We'll start with that, see if we have issues. Cheats are disabled. Okay. Let's just go through the list. But it's also like a thing of what if it's only when there's a specific item inside of the building too. But I doubt that's the case, because in the other save, it's a whole different... It happens on two separate saves, so you would think that it's not an item-specific thing. Alright, we've got like everything. And now let's go through logistics. Oops. I guess I already did that one. And then if it does crash or the same synchronizer issue happens, we know it's not necessarily tied to the size of, you know, the world or whatever. It's like just due to a specific building causing it. It's gonna take forever. You never really think about how many buildings are in Starground until you actually go and place all of them down. Okay, we got all those guys. Farming buildings. Boom, boom. All of the decorations. Which I really don't think it's any of these because that other save didn't even have any decorations or any of the new stuff. So it would be extremely strange if that was the case. But you never know, so we're gonna do everything. Snooze that ad. Do plush. Light bulb. Okay, we're getting there. Let's go through miscellaneous. Oh. Skateboard, training dummy, star launcher. Pressure pump, pressure roll, pressure airlock. Storage interface, tool bench, computer, sign, display stand, and then we just got tiles. Let's just create a couple tiles. Oh yeah, that should be like everything. So let's save the game. Call it everything. And now let's try joining. Let's see what happens. And of course, everything is fine and normal. There's no issues. The other player joined just normal. As you can see. So it's not a building issue. I didn't think it was. But what other kind of objects could be placed around? I mean, the only thing I can think of is like we can modify some tiles. Here, let's research hole. Could be a research thing. Let's quit again, join again. Let's see. Tiles are ready. It's not a research thing. Maybe it's having tiles on different planets. I don't know, place some stuff over here. Then let's go to Opus and do some stuff. Sucks, man, because I want to get started on other stuff. I want to work on deadlift. I need to get started on 15 or 0.16 also. But I just can't because we have to deal with this stupid garbage. We could also try dropping some items. Which I really doubt that's the problem. You never know. Let's join again. Packets go through just great, and we're connected normal. I don't know. I don't know anymore. The only thing I can think of is it has something to do with like just the quantity of packets. It's the only other difference. I've placed every single building, so there shouldn't be any weird synchronization things happening. We could just load up the other save again and just start blasting everything with hydrogen bombs. I suppose. And just see if breaking everything would work. Would it be practical to gather all the data in a file and have it sent over to the client? I mean, you can, but I don't know what that would really do. But it sounds like it's still, like, just the same problem's gonna happen, so it doesn't even really matter. Going back to Fencer. Yeah, still, like, it works pretty normally for normal factories, right? But for some reason, on larger saves like yours and that other one, it just doesn't work. So what I'm doing now is I'm going through and destroying everything. I just want to see if it's like something to do with the quantity of things. I can't remember if this actually breaks conveyors still, does it? No, it does not. I guess conveyors are blast proof. I just want to see if it's like quantity of conveyors, maybe. I have some kind of inkling that it's maybe just how many RPCs. Spitballing, can't think of any. Nah, it's all good. I mean, at a minimum, I know that at least it fixes the vast majority of anybody's issues. Like, there's only a few people out of the over, whatever, 10,000 people that have bought the... Oh, I just died? I thought I was in creative mode. Oh, I was in God mode, not creative mode. So yeah, that's normal. Okay, so I've just like blown up everything. It's still actively blowing up. There's still a bunch of conveyors, but most of the buildings are destroyed. So I want to see if that makes any kind of difference. You could also destroy all these batteries over here. It's extremely laggy because we have like 50 nukes going off right now. Also, I'm zoomed out like a lot, so... And we have 1,000 billion items everywhere. Alright, so all the buildings are destroyed. I know there's still some buildings on Opus and stuff, but... It's like 1 million stone rock items on the ground above the space elevator for saltwater, by the way. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, let's connect and see what happens. With some tile data. It still just immediately dies. It did send over all the tiles. And it's... What? Okay, it's really strange. I did connect, even though it still threw all of these errors. But it's almost like it fixed itself at the end. So I don't know how the heck that happened. So this has really just made everything even more confusing. I don't even know. Like, now it only temporarily happens. For items, the packets there, I don't actually send any info over for stored items until the player actually has to access them, right? So that's just an easy little optimization I do. So thank you for the spin. But for items on the ground, those are just synchronized or spawned in as a, you know, in the multiplayer spawner scene. I'm just going up to Opus over here really quick. I don't know, man. I'm just at the end of my rope. This is why, like, people ask why I don't want to do multiplayer for Deadlift and Lured In. This is why. Because it's so hard. And sucks a lot. It's not even, though, the tiles still. Like, we just did... I increased the number of modified tiles because of all these explosions to 11,000. And for some reason, that worked. Right? We still have 3,000 conveyors and 11,000 land tiles. So obviously, like, it's not the issue is definitely not that, I guess. So thank you for the follow. I don't know, man. I don't know what else we could do. Also, we do have some funny bugs from the explosions. They didn't break the conveyors, so I need to fix that. Oh, is it because it did break over here, but it just didn't synchronize properly to the client? That's a little funny. You can see there's... Where did that happen? Do we have a mismatch between tiles here? Or is it just that it's... That's a little weird. We can see that for some reason this guy does not have tiles underneath these conveyors, but then this guy does. So the server is correctly reporting there are tiles underneath the conveyors, but then the client thinks that there isn't. So I think that's a separate, unrelated issue. Bomb causes tile desync. I think it's just because I'm not properly removing those tiles, so it doesn't actually get added to the modified list correctly. I don't know. I think I might just go ahead and commit these, like, do a new patch just to fix these issues, because it does help. And it fixes the majority. And we'll have to keep working on what causes the synchronizer issues. It's definitely like something... I don't know. Maybe some kind of like synchronizer sending over too much info or something that just causes the whole system to just give up. But then we have this with like tons of items and it's fine. So I don't think it has anything to do with tile count or conveyor count. I think it's something to do with either the number of RPCs still or the number of synchronizer calls. It's the only thing I could think of. So we got ads going on, my apologies. Let's see, I'm playing the game. How do I get pipes? There are no pipes in Starground. So if you're doing like water stuff, ignore the super laggy save. You can just use conveyor belts and movers. Just treat liquids as just the same way as an item. No idea, I wish I did, I know. It's really annoying. Also, guys, I just got an email back. Okay, I can't even read that. Every single key request has just been approved, apparently, all at the same time. So I'll be sending those out pretty soon. So hey, Gamedevable, welcome in. How's it going? Yo, just a cheese time, let's go. Epic. 2 cheese times, 3 cheese times. That's insane. I freaking hate working on bugs too, and I'm like tired. That's really fun and cool. It's complaining about a bunch of things here, which is interesting. About keys on the power networks. This probably only happens when you blow them up with a nuclear bomb, though. Attempted to next an invalid previously freed object instance in a typed dictionary. Because I'm saying for machine and machines, I guess you can't do that because if the machine in here becomes null or something, since I'm statically typing it as buildable, it just complains. So I guess I could fix that. I mean, I don't think it really matters. I'll write it down though. Make Tesla coil loops not statically type buildings and coils. Oops. Can't do it automatically. You have to go to the oil rig to get it. No. You should be. What you need to do is I'll show you a little setup here really quick. Cheese bouncing off you sometimes. Yeah, I have a collision shape set up on my webcam area so the cheese bounces off. Yeah, let me go into creative mode and I'll show you the setup. So you can place down a... Hold on, let me... Didn't I just enable cheats? Okay. So let's say that you have a oil rig set up right here. You can just grab a long range mover like this. Boom. And then conveyor belts. So if we power this up and we collect some oil. Oh, well, there's no oil where I just placed it down. So yeah. Let's build it over here. Oil rig. Boom. Like so. Extend the network. So they're going to go grab the oil, and then this long-range mover can reach into the oil rig. Like that. That's how you set it up. I think you might also be able to just use a regular mover. I don't remember. Let's try it. No. Yeah, you have to use a long-range mover. So that's how you do it. Yeah, hopefully that helps. One of these days, maybe in the future, once like Starground is no longer adding in a bunch of new features and is more of in a stable state, I'd love to go through and like record some GIFs of little setups and action for tutorials that pop up, you know? So it would kind of like show you an example of like how you can place the oil rig. Something like that would be nice. I might do that eventually, but we'll wait on that. That requires a lot of extra work. And then the thing too is since Starground's still changing a lot, if I go through and record all those, I'm probably going to have to delete them and record them again, like all the time. So I'm just going to wait on that. There's a lot of things like that that are just kind of like the final pieces to the puzzle, you know? So... loop. All right, so yeah, I can't think of anything else to do for these multiplayer issues right now. It's only on extremely big saves. You know, we're talking saves with thousands of buildings. So at least what we have now is improved. We'll figure that stuff out another time. But guys, before I have to leave, I'd like to go work on deadlift. Because we've been taking forever. So we're gonna finally do that. Let me change the title. I don't know what exactly we're working on. I guess just more gameplay stuff. Deadlift Godot Gamedev. Right. Yeah. I'll get working on wrapping up all the little bits and bobs and release that Starground update as a patch. But for now, I want to take a break. And we'll work on deadlift. Oh yeah, I can't hit the options button. I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the UI of this game. Because, like, I'd love the UI to look epic and warbly like I did for the options menu background, but it's so much work to have to create all these panel buttons. I kind of don't want to do that. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I made this ugly, stupid, angled button. It looks terrible. I don't really want to stick with that. I would love to change that. But I don't know. I don't know yet. I gotta think about the direction of the UI I'm gonna take. I always have liked the UI of Cult of the Lamb, because it's got a similar vibe. Like, I like how it looks. It's got like... I guess it's not the same as I remember. I thought it was like all funny with the fire. Maybe I'm thinking of a different button or something. But I don't know, something along these lines maybe would be okay. I'm not really sure. And if anybody has suggestions on like what we should do for the UI, definitely let me know. But otherwise, let's see where we're at. I need a little refresher. One thing we can start working on actually now is the doorman. We have the assets for that, so we'll probably do that. I have the test light on right now, so it's overly bright. Don't worry about it. I do want to get the NPC dialogue all configured so that it's not just sitting there saying, "Hey, bud," or whatever. Oh, immediate guy giggling. I do like how the environment's shaping up. I do have some new models from Mr. Season Rights that I'm going to be adding into the game, so those should be nice. Just a couple different things for some of these different zones, stuff like some shelves and whatnot. The stealth mechanic still isn't fully set up, so I need to work on that. He's decided to stop. So I think some of the things, we need to start making like a list of the next critical things to do for deadlift, I think. Yeah, so in here. So like, play test. What do I need to do, right? I need to fix enemy targeting. Because right now when Ares targets onto you, he never loses aggro ever. So I have to fix that. Make stealth work. The doorman. What else? I'm really focusing on gameplay stuff. Because that's what I want to get testing first. Visuals can come later. What's another thing that I would love to have for play testing? Maybe we could do something like in Metro, kind of like 3D environment where you can move camera slightly and click different things with the buttons. I could definitely look that up, that UI. Like in the Metro? Oh, like Metro Exodus and stuff? Is that what you're talking about? Oh yeah, kind of like this, where you've got like... No, that's not really... Yeah, like this. There's a lot of games that do that. Resident Evil 7 does that. I've been playing that recently. Yeah. Yeah, where it's just like a physical UI. I'll definitely need, though, to figure out, like, the non-physical UI, though, too. It would be fun to do some main menu stuff like this. I do like their models and stuff here. Yeah, like, the bolts are all random and stuff. Might have to use this for some inspiration. Because, see, it's got, like, different stuff for in-game versus, you know. I need to play this game. I have it installed, I don't know. It seems cool. Yeah, I do like this vibe though. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, I'll keep that open for sure. So what else do we need to do? It's probably not going to be easy, but I would like to do rover and elevator upgrades. We probably won't have time before playtesting, but I'll put it down there anyways. What else? Doorman. Gameplay. I guess just a crafter machine in the wall so that we can make stuff. Lights, entities. I mean, that's probably pretty good. I'd ideally like to get all this done in the next, like, one day. So we'll see if we can do that. Anyways. I think we can go ahead and start working on the doorman now. Let's do that. Let's see. Deadlift. Alright. So we got a couple different sprites and stuff that we need to get into the game. First off, we have the fingers. So we're going to go to sprites, entities, doorman hands. Then we're going to go into wherever it is. The world scene. So when Half-Life 1 stream, I still need to get the camera if I'm going to do that. I don't know, or maybe we just forget the whole idea and just do it. Instead of taking a million years. We'll see. But I want to do it soon. Trust me. I'll try and start planning it. Hopefully we can do it this month. Let's see, this doesn't really have to have any fancy animations, so just do that. Doorman hands. Unable to load images. Excuse me? What? Okay, it's like they're corrupted or something. Let's try this again. What is going on? Is it like a weird format? Should just be a PNG, right? Yeah. Let's restart the editor, I guess. Windows. Stop. I don't know what I just opened. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's reload the project. Something's weird. Don't really care for the camera, but it'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, it's just expensive. I'm really gonna drop like at least 70 bucks on a camera for one stream. I wanted to get like an old Epic. I have a VHS camera, but it's kind of broken and doesn't work very well. Whenever I plug it in, like sometimes it just shuts off or like can't get enough power or something. I don't know what's happening. But I'd love to get one that is better. Like one of the Panasonic ones. But I don't know. Because you can get it set up as a webcam, which would be epic. I don't think anyone suggested it. I think it was simply my idea. I can't remember though. Someone might have. Okay, now I can load this. Good. But yeah, it's fine. We'll just... I might just not do it. Then alpha cut. All right, so we have the hands. So these are going to be wiggling around. Coming out of the hatch. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how I want this to be, like, positioned and stuff. But I imagine something kind of like this. Doorman. Hands. And I might have it angled a little bit. And I might change the angle as the openness level of the hatch changes. We'll have to see. Because I could, like... I can set an offset on this. So I could say... Set the X offset to whatever the size of this is. I think it's... 100? Yeah, so it's 200 long. So now I can rotate it. Have the hands kind of come out a little more. So initially that rotation will be pretty small. Alright, so we're just going to control that now. Let's just start coding some stuff up. For the hatch. So set hatch stage. We have all the angles and stuff. I want to say if angle is less than 0. And then say those dot visible is true. And then if that's the case also, we say that on the x-axis dot rotation dot x is equal to our angle as well. So I just want to see what this looks like. Save it, and let's go in. What lighting method are you using for this game? I'm just using, I have a custom, right now I have like a test light on, so it looks super ugly. I can just turn that one off though. It's just so I can see everything easy. But boom. I have a sunlight set up out here for the surface, but I disable that when I descend. Here, before I go in, I want to change the hatch timer to be very fast. Let's do 5 seconds. Yeah, the dithering effect, that is a shader. It's just an on-screen shader, so what it does is it applies a posterization effect, so you can see like the colors kind of snap to the nearest color. And then also applies the dithering on top. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna sit and watch this hatch now. Might take a minute for the hatch to go. It's okay. I did not create the shader. I found it online. We can go find it. It's like, I don't remember what I called it. .gd shader. I believe it's probably called... is it effect? Yeah, it's just called effect, I guess. That's a stupid name. But this is the shader. It's available on the Godot Shaders website. But it's pretty straightforward. Essentially what it's doing is just reducing the color space, right? So it snaps a color to the nearest value. And then for dithering, I think it's just applying a pattern on top of just this dithering pattern. So, which is this. I'm sure you could like change this pattern. It would kind of make the pattern here different. But yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. Also, I think the rotation is backwards. Let's fix his. That should be playing by default. Why is the hatch taking forever? Wait time should only be 5 seconds. Did Did it just not save or something? Alright, let's go reload the game. We're using SDFGI for dynamic lighting since you are generating the level. I don't actually have that enabled. I don't have any... because I've noticed that it tends to make the game run bad. I mean, we can enable it, but honestly, I feel like in my opinion, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Like, it does add global illumination, but it's kind of a question of do we even need it, you know? Because if we go in here and descend, and also the way that a lot of the meshes are set up, it causes a lot of like weird lighting errors. Like now around the edges, it's all like glowing for some reason and stuff. Okay, so that hand stuff is completely wrong. I mean, like, it's just, you can't really even tell a difference. So if I turn it off, you can see the difference is like, it's very minimal. It just kind of makes everything a little bit darker. Like, and since I'm already applying a bunch of effects on screen, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's worth it. Enable SSIL and yeah. I mean, if I enable those, I can, but it tends to run bad again. So now that those are enabled, boom, is what it looks like. I'll probably give people the option to enable them if they want, but I've had, see, you get like weird light flickering, and I've had issues with some people's computers just cannot handle it for some reason. So, I'll probably keep those off by default. SSAO is fine, but it doesn't even really make that much of a difference just because of the way I do the dithering and stuff. It's like, you don't even really see it that much. I don't know though why it's not like doing any SSAOing in the corners though, right? Like, shouldn't it be like dark in that divot? And messing with radius and stuff, it really doesn't seem to do anything. So I don't really know what I'm doing wrong with SSAO. I feel like there's something that I'm like missing. Horizon. Light effect. AO effect. I mean, that's like better. Well, obviously this isn't good, but like, this is kind of the vibe I want. I want the corners just to be a little darkened because I think it looks nice. I'll have to tweak this then. I guess the AO channel is what I wanted. Ambient occlusion. Why is it so freaking scary? Yeah, it's pretty spooky. Yeah, I got this environment. This is the meat zone. It's all set up now. Obviously, I still need to spawn in the items and stuff in here, but I got the textures and some blood decals splattering on top and stuff, so but it's coming along. So we got this zone. This is the normal, like, office area. And then we've got the freezer zone over here. So I've been just kind of working on getting all these areas implemented. Boom. Yeah, you're getting worse performance, which should look better. Yeah. I'll just leave all those things as optional graphic settings if people want to enable them. But otherwise, I feel like, personally, they don't really seem to make that much of a difference. It's interesting what light effect does. We have sharpness and stuff. Reset that. Let's just reset all these settings then. Intensity. Okay, intensity does kind of matter. So maybe we could do something like up the intensity and decrease the radius. I do kind of like the look of this. where the corners like that are just dark. Because it really helps give like a sense of geometry in here. It makes things feel a little more connected to each other, I feel like. Because this is with it on, and this is with it off, right? I think I know which one I prefer. Off, it feels a little too flat. But then when it's on, I don't know. It just makes things feel better. So I'll probably keep SSAO on. I don't think usually SSAO by itself causes too many issues, so... I need to fix the hands. It's a little quirky right now. I made all that? Yeah, I modeled all of this stuff. I didn't, like, draw these textures manually, but... I grabbed some... I use Filter Forge for getting procedural textures. It's really a convenient program. Basically the way it works is you can create your own filters. It's sort of like making a shader in Blender, where you plug in different like texture nodes and math formulas to make a texture procedurally like this. And then I can just go through, define, like choose my resolution and stuff of the texture. And then also I did a separate like blood splatter on top. That doesn't actually use a texture. This is just a procedural noise texture that I added a bunch of like distortion to. So it looks kind of like a splatter. But that's what I do for that. And it works pretty well, actually. The nice thing about using procedural textures, well, first off, I can tweak these super easily. And then especially with the blood, like it just works for every surface and it doesn't repeat very often. You can see it's like very random. So it just looks nice walking through here. You're not seeing the same pattern over and over. I do the exact same system over here for the ice and the freezer zone. So yeah. I still need to fix the chairs going inside of each other. I thought I fixed that. So how do I do shadows? I kind of selectively decide which light sources actually cast shadows. So this one casts shadows. All it is really just going in here, wherever that light node is, main light, and just enabling shadows. It's pretty easy in Godot. Unless you know there's something I'm missing with that, but it seems pretty straightforward. So I enable that, and then just mess with all the settings in here. I do reverse coal face, because when I have that off, I see these weird moire patterns, you know, where it's got, like, I don't know why that happens, but you can see it just looks weird. It might be completely impossible to see on stream, but it's like got all these weird lines. So I just keep that on and it seems to work really well. And then for blur, I don't have any blur on. We could potentially blur these shadows a little bit like that, but I feel like then things might start to feel a little too smooth. I kind of like the harshness at 0 smoothness of just like sharp shadows. I don't know. I guess it just comes down to personal preference. And then there's bias, which I set to 0 because when I don't set it to 0, everything is stupid and doesn't work. So yeah. Include distraction. Can you run through your player controller? Sure, we can go through that. It's pretty, well, not simple. I got a lot of garbage in there, but the gist of it is that the player has a state. We have our different possible states up here, wherever I put that. So we have walking, idle, running, and crouching. These are our player states, and we have a current state. Just a bunch of different stats, HP, which I don't actually use. Some of this stuff was from a different project that I worked on in the background, so these are kind of legacy. But yeah, just a bunch of different, what is our speed, blah, blah, blah. Then down in here, in physics process, where I calculate all the input and stuff. I do a couple things in here though, like I check if I'm holding control, and if so, I set my crouching to true. There's a lot of very specific things to this game I'm doing in here. It's not like using a super generic player controller. Just checking if I'm on air or not. And that changes like my camera offset. So if I'm in the sky, it like brings the camera up. I don't even use that because there's no jumping in this game, so that's kind of not used. If I die, open the death menu. I do some hunger calculation stuff here. This is where I get my input, and then I figure out my state. So am I walking? Am I idle? Am I crouching? Am I running? And then depending on all those things, I do some camera bobbing too. And I change the FOV, you know, typical stuff. I mean, there's not anything super cool or special in here. I do some stuff. If I take damage, the camera like starts limping. I can show you guys what that looks like if I just descend and keep going. And if I sleep and without eating or drinking, that will hurt. I'll be very hungry and thirsty. No good, sir. Also, thank you for the follow. So now you can see the camera does this little limping thing. It's kind of just a way for me to explain to the player that they have taken damage. Because now they're hungry and thirsty. So they just limp a tiny bit. And it does modify your movement a little bit. So like, it's hard to notice at this level because it's not very strong. But if we go down one more time. And then when I do this again, the player is going to be like, I'm very hungry, I'm starving. Please, I need food. And I'm so hungry, I feel weak. Yeah, you can see like, it's the way I do the movement stuff is I didn't want to just do a flat cut to the player's speed. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm changing the player's speed with a sine wave, so it goes up to normal speed and then down to 0, so you kind of get like a slow like limping motion like this, right? Where you go slow right there and then normal speed, slow. It just makes it, I don't know, it feels better to me. It feels more real. But I have that set up. I kind of based it off of like how it works in SCP Containment Breach, because I feel like it works okay in that game. I'm probably going to tweak the values or even add an accessibility option to disable the bobbing in case that makes people motion sick, so... yeah, anyways. Stop following development, come back and got a blood-sucked corridor, yeah. Coincidence? Unlikely. And if I sleep again, I will die. My experience, real-time shadows take a huge amount of performance, so disable them when you can't see them. Yeah. I think Godot does have shadow culling, or like, it has like a distance, I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, that after you go out of the area, it stops rendering shadows. It might be inside of here. I think there's like something in here with lighting or rendering. Lights and shadows. And then... And if it doesn't, then that's a little stupid, and I definitely will do that. So, the good thing is in this game, we almost have no real-time shadows. Most of it's just going to be this one light, so I don't think it's going to ever cause any performance issues. So far, performance of the game is very good. The game basically runs at like 2000 FPS right now, so that's pretty cool. Now with SSAO, it's probably a bit lower, but yeah. My goal with this is I want it to run on a lot of things. I'm not going to go super heavy into making things super ultra realistic graphics. I think a big help too with the game running so well is the fact that the textures are so low res. Because all of these are relatively low VRAM. They don't eat up all your graphics VRAM. But yeah, anyways. Very simple, nice. Want to see what type of FSM such, yeah, you were using. Okay. Working on an FPS controller at the moment? Oh, okay, nice, yeah. Yeah, I have thought about doing, I've talked about this before, but someday I'd like to just do, like, create some standardized kind of templates for myself. You know, just a simple player controller and stuff like that. Also, did our SSAO stuff go away? Oh no, it's just because it's bright. I think as we descend, we'll see the SSAO begin to accrue. Maybe? No, it did go away. It's because I have to leave and then open the game again. Big Planet music? Yeah. It's in there temporarily. I'm sure it's not legal for me to sell the game with that music in there, so I'm gonna replace it. But yeah. By the way, how do you do the locking camera when you look up so you can't spin it around? Yeah, I'll show you how I do that. It's inside of... I basically just have like an input check for the player. Oh, that's the world, I was wondering. This is where I do my camera movement stuff. So input right here, as long as I'm not dead and the game's not paused. I get a mouse input motion event. So I'm just rotating the whole character according to that on the x-axis. Then when it comes to the vertical axis, I'm just clamping the rotation. It's pretty straightforward. So I think this is a pretty nice, easy way to do camera rotation. It just allows you to rotate on the... Yeah, right here. So I'm rotating the whole player. Which, let's see, event relative X. So yeah, that's my... This X that rotates my vertical axis or whatever. And then we got this one's doing the left and right of the camera, which I'm trying to remember why I do that separate. Oh yeah, I think the rotation of my camera is completely separate from my player rotation. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to remember. I'll have to look through and see why I do two separate. But otherwise, this is the secret. Just clamp it between 90 degrees. Did I make all your graphics and props? Yeah, I've modeled all this stuff. I use Blender. Blender's a very nice program, and something that's great about Blender and Godot specifically is I don't have to export my models in a fancy format. Usually with other engines and stuff like Unity, you have to export everything as like a GLB, and it's fine. I mean, it's normal. It's what most people are used to doing. But what's nice with Godot is I can just straight up save my blend file into the project, and it just works. You can just use .blend files in Godot natively. So it's super nice because I can just... All of this stuff is just the Blender file. I don't have to re-export into a different format. So it's what's great about it too, what's awesome, is if I want to, I can update stuff live. So I could like open up the blend scene of the elevator and just tweak things and save it, and then it's just in the game immediately. So if you're making a 3D game in Godot, I highly recommend just using blend files for your models, because I think it's really great. Theoretically, it might have a slightly larger file size, but unless you're making some kind of MMO with a billion assets, I don't think it will ever matter. So, the shadow culling doesn't really work that well. It still calculates something? Okay. Well, I'll definitely keep that in mind then to like, make these go invisible when they're out of your range. Got to figure out how to make a train with a looping texture. Just been making trains in Blender, and every time I change the topology, just re-UV mapping it. What I'm using for almost every texture in this game, now I can't say that this is the most optimal way performance-wise. It really depends on your game, but you can enable triplanar mapping, and for something like terrain, it's definitely a good idea. So for example, this grass material, I can just go down here and in UV1 turn on triplanar, and what that does is instead of mapping the texture to the UVs of your object, it just kind of uses like world coordinates. It's like almost like a decal on top. So we can see the difference over here. This is with triplanar on and then triplanar off. It's completely broken and wrong. Because now what it's trying to do is apply that texture, that one, you know, whatever, 384 texture to everything. But if I enable this, now it doesn't matter how I move or shape this object, it'll always stay the same texture. So like, for example, I think a good way to showcase this is let's add in a CSG box. So here's our box. If we give it our grass material, you'll see what it's doing. So boom, it's made out of grass now. As I move this, so there's two modes on this. You can enable just triplanar or also world triplanar. And now when I move this cube, you can see the texture is always the same, but the position of the geometry changes. So it's extremely useful. I really love triplanar mapping because it makes texturing things an absolute breeze. You don't have to worry about UVs at all. Now, the only downside to triplanar mapping is it has the potential to be slow, but in my experience, it's still blazing fast and the game is not slow at all, even though every material is triplanar. So I think it depends on the complexity of your materials. If you're doing a lot of extremely high resolution materials like 4K textures and stuff, triplanar mapping will probably start to be bad for performance. So be warned of that. But otherwise, it's pretty awesome, and I recommend you try it out. You could always, like, for something specific, like I could, for example, just the corridor or just the walls on the elevator, I could do, like, properly set up the UVs, because it's just a simple square shape, but then keep all the little bits and bobs on triplanar, because it's just a lot easier. Okay, you're probably just saving a lot of time UV mapping. Yeah, I haven't done any UVs for this game, really. So, it's pretty nice. That might come to bite me again later. Maybe it turns out it's really bad to do that and do triplanar everywhere, but you know what? So far, so good, though. Haven't had any issues. So we'll see. Yeah, I'm adding value instead of assigning it, so I had to figure out a little differently. Ah, okay, yeah, I see. What you could do then is just check what the value will be, like if you're adding it instead. Let me go back into the player. So if you go ahead and do an input event and you're saying rotation.x plus equals another value or whatever, 1, and you want it to remain less than a certain thing. I do this sometimes in Starground. You can just say if rotation.x plus the value that you want to add is less than the thing, then you add it. So it's basically doing the same thing as clamping, but instead of just plussing. Yeah, I figured out. I was just wondering how you do it. Ah, okay. We could do that, and then you could even just get the difference between the two if it is under that value, so. By the way, last time I was here, I was lamenting on not being able to program. Can't do that now. Let's go. Nice. Working on a project now and taking notes from your advice here. That's awesome. Yeah, congratulations. That's really cool. Yeah, being able to program and do art and all this stuff, it's very cool. So, yeah, it's awesome that you're diving into that stuff. So is negative pi over 2 just 3 pi over 2? No, it's... So, angles in Godot can be negative. I mean, yeah, negative angles are a thing. Let's just open up Desmos and I'll graph some stuff. So, like... Let's see. We can change our... We could go to, like, where is it? The polar coordinates. How do I change it to that? There we go. So we can see all the angles here. Really, a negative angle just goes the opposite direction. So normally it's always in terms of positive angles, but here we have 0, which is pointing to the right. So we go up here. This is pi over 2. So if we wanted to get that in terms of a negative angle, so we'd say, right, pi over 2, that's that angle. We would just say tau, which is the full 360. It's just the difference between these two would be the same angle. So we would just say 0 minus, like, 270 or whatever. Which, what would that be in terms of pi? So that'd be minus... pi That'd be minus pi times 1.5, whatever that value is. So these are equivalent angles. 1.5 and negative 4.71 are the same angle. So I just like using negative angles because it just makes more sense to my brain. And it's just a better way to do it. Like, because then we have 0. If you go this direction, it's negative pi over 2. And this direction is positive pi over 2. If that makes any sense. Hopefully I'm explaining this in a way that's... But yeah, negative angles are just going a different direction. So positive angles always go counterclockwise. Or do they? I can't remember. There's some direction it goes in here. I think they go... Yeah, I'm pretty sure they go counterclockwise and the negative angles go clockwise. So that's the way to think about it. Godot makes it really easy. You don't really have to worry about conceptually the negative angles. I'll probably share some stuff about my project in Discord later. Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, totally. Feel free to drop that in there. I'd love to see it. So if you take a quarter of a circle, you get 3 pi over 2. Pi over 2 is a quarter of a circle. It's not the same, because if we look at the unit circle, let's go back to coordinate circles, or circle coordinates, I mean. So pi over 2 is going to be this area, and then 3 pi over 2 is just a different angle. 3 pi over 2 is over there. But see, the thing is 3 pi over 2 is from this point here. Like, here, let's just draw this out. This is going to be easier. So we have our circle. Pi over 2 is this corner. And then 3 pi over 2 is this corner. So it's taking up a different chunk of the circle. Like, it's 3/4 of a circle instead of 1/4. Right? And then we have our pi over 2 right here. So pi over 2 is a quarter. That's a 90-degree angle. Pi is a 180-degree angle. And then you have 3 pi over 2. That's a 3/4 angle. Or 3/4, whatever. So if you have negative pi over 2, isn't that equivalent to positive pi over 3? It's not quite the same, because if we have negative pi over 2, like... If we do this, we always start at 0 right here, right? So that's our starting point. It points to the right. So negative pi over 2 is going to be this quadrant of the sphere, of the circle. So in Godot, it does have a meaningful difference. We're defining a different segment of rotation. So it depends on your starting point, like the context of that. So yeah, like Bot's saying, I mean, if you only care about like just the position of where it is, then yeah, the two angles are the same. So like 3 pi over 2 over here is technically the same position as negative pi over 2. But the thing that matters is like the point from where you come from. So if you say 3 pi over 2 in Godot, that's going to imply that you started at 0 and you're now circling around this way. But if you're referencing negative pi over 2, that's like you've gone this direction. So I guess that would be the difference. So yeah, it really comes down to the path that you take, the rotation, the direction. But yeah, otherwise, these are the same angles. So yeah. Yeah, I was thinking in math terms, thinking about the point, not the journey. Yeah. Yeah, once you understand that that's all it is, it's pretty easy to go between and convert. Like, if it's something where you're only getting, you know, just a specific angle, then yeah, whether it's negative pi over 2 or whether it's 3 pi over 2 or negative pi over 2 doesn't matter. But if you, say for example, I want to go from my angle starts at 0 and I want to smoothly tween between the two over to this angle, then I'd want to tween from 0 over to negative pi over 2. Because I want the thing I'm rotating to go in a specific direction, right? So that's the difference. But anyways, and that's why I'm clamping by negative pi over 2. If I clamped by 3 pi over 2, well, that would be larger than this value then, so it'd be a little weird. It would be clamping at a different quadrant of the circle, right? So doing this means our rotation is 0. I'm clamping between this rotation and this rotation, so you can look down and up. But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I know it's a little wacky, but yeah. Let's see. Welcome in. Over here, fellow gamer. Thank you very much. How's deadlift going? It's going good. We are just working away at stuff. Want to get the doorman. There's a new entity we're messing with called the doorman. Yeah, I was gonna actually test that and mess with it. Let's go down and do that. His hand rotation is not correct. So again, this is the difference, right? Where if we go back into World with the Hatch stage. So I thought this should not change on intermission. I guess it's technically not intermission. So I want to change the rotation to the negative variant of the angle. I think is what I want to do. Let's see if that does it. Let's turn the lights on in here. It's still a little quirky. Now it's just going inverse, so that's not really what I want. Let's go back into here. Okay, so keep that at that angle. I think I just need to offset this by pi over 2. So that leaves him at 90 degrees there. Is he actually changing angle? Oh yeah, there we go. That's more what I want. So it's just going to match the angle of this plus an offset. Obviously, I don't want it to do that much, though. I think what I want to do is sort of like, it needs to be the middle ground between... Like, I guess just this angle divided by 2. And then we have to still add pi over 2. So let's see what this looks like. So that's first stage, which is not correct. It's that guy. Okay, so it's still wrong. We'll get it figured out. Let's just try angle divided by 2. I just want to see where it like starts and stuff. Because it should just start flat, or at least a little angled. But it starts down there, so I think what I need to say is rotation divided by 2, and then minus pi over 2. Or I might have to do plus pi over 2, we'll see. I think we have to say plus. I think his hands are backwards now. Yeah, let's say plus. Honestly, a lot of rotation stuff is just to change the value until it looks right. So he's not really rotating enough. Then when it gets to this stage, it's pretty normal. I don't know, I might just hard code the rotation so it looks correct and how I want. I might do that. Hopefully music still goes good. Yeah, can't get over it. It's pretty awesome. That's like the first song that came to mind. I was thinking, okay, I need a temporary elevator song. Why not do that one? Yeah, pi over 4 is 45 degrees. Yeah. So hatch at angle 0. Let's get rid of divide by 2 just for a moment. I just want this to match the angle of the hatch. So this should reset his angle to like 0 or whatever. Or just a little bit rotated. And then he goes to that stage. It's because his pivot point is like different from what the pivot point of the hatch is. So it means that like I have to do... I'm just gonna, instead of making it stupid and complicated, I'm just gonna like have a list of angles that I want it to be set to. according to the stage, so that I can actually control what it is. It's just going to be easier this way, honestly. Why, like, make things complicated? So the final angle is probably going to be, like, I guess pi over 2, probably. First angle, I guess, is 0. Oh, and then we can just ignore that. So rotation is equal to... Oops. If stage is greater than 0, then we make it visible. Otherwise, make it false. And then just set this to arm angles at index stage. And then now we can define our angles in here. And just for a moment, instead of making it up there, I'm just going to define it in here so I can change it with each stage until we find out what it needs to be. And then we can do like pi over 4, pi over 2, and then, I don't know, 1.5 or something. We'll just experiment and see what looks good. Let's load back in. Snooze the ad. Wish there's a Little Big Planet 4. I know. It really sucks that it's like... Didn't they shut down the servers for 3 recently? I'm pretty sure that they did. It's insane to me that that's from 2014. That's pretty wild. That doesn't seem right. But I guess it is. It's also insane to me that this game, Sackboy, is already 5 years old. I don't know when that happened. But yeah. That's what happens when you give your franchise Sony. Yep. It's unfortunately true. Yeah. I think that's just what happens when you sell your IP to any big company. Because the thing is then it becomes less of a focus on making the game good. It's just a focus on making money. So, yeah. It's too bad. I would love a new Little Big Planet, you know? I feel like with all of the... I mean, it'd be so, like... There's so many... Oh, it's not setting the visibility properly. Oh, whoops. I feel like it really wouldn't be that bad with all the new gizmos and stuff we have in modern day times, you know? Oh, what is going on? Oh, I just have the rotation wrong. Okay, so I guess those rotations need to be positive. Sure. Let's try this again. Let's watch. Okay, so it goes that angle. Whoa. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I changed the angle wrong. These ones need to be negative. That's what I need to do. Okay. Okay, so obviously these need to be offset by pi. Because they're like backwards. So let's say all this stuff minus pi. Which I may need to say plus pi. I don't freaking remember, guys. Hate to go off topic, have I played Arc Raiders? I have. It's pretty fun. I had a good time with it. I like that the PV elements of Arc Raiders are kind of just optional. Like, because honestly, I'm not a huge fan of PvP stuff. It's fine, but I much prefer just having a chill time and not having to fight everybody that I ever come across. I like though that in Arc Raiders it's like a choice, right? Like you can PvP and it can be fun, but it doesn't feel like you're ever like forced to, which is nice. Okay, that's still way too much on the rotation. I need to get like a base rotation. Here, let's just get rid of all this stuff. And pi over 2 should be... We should never go past pi over 2. Let's say pi over 3 and then pi over 2. And then down here on our angle, we'll say that plus pi over 2. See if this works. Yeah, Arc Raiders is fun. Although I feel like after a while, though, I do get kind of bored with it, to be honest. Because I think it just becomes a little too grindy, having to get all the materials for your workbenches and stuff. And then apparently I haven't played it enough, but apparently there's like a rebirth thing now too, where you completely restart from the very beginning. I mean, I get that they add that stuff in just to extend out playtime, but it's one of those games where I feel like I don't think I'd get much more out of it by rebirthing. It's not like you really get a lot of new content to explore or something. It's just the same game, but now just larger number. So, but it's neat. Unfortunately, we have ads starting soon. Hardly even a matter of money, though, when they just sit on the IP. Yeah. I mean, it still kind of is, though. Like, because the thing is with big companies is it costs them an enormous amount of money to release a game and work on a game. So it's cheaper for them to just sit on the IP instead of actually spending any money on it, which is too bad. And big companies also are usually quite risk adverse, even if it's... If there's a chance that it's not going to do very well, then it's just easier for them to not do anything at all. So, you know, like Bloodborne PC would be basically free money. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of things that go into it. It's the unfortunate reality of a large gaming studio. Is that even things that seem like it would make sense on paper with all the costs that they would incur, it doesn't anymore. Which is stupid that that's the case, but it's because large AAA studios spend way too much money making a game. We'll get into it after the ad, but like there's a lot of examples of that happening constantly, of studios blasting all their cash and then expecting it to break even. Let's keep tweaking these angles until it looks good. Yeah, that angle's good. I think this one here is too much. Oh yeah. It needs to be only a small difference. Maybe 6. And this one can be 3, so it's kind of at an angle. Let's try that again. Alright, we got ads going, my apologies. Okay, small. Should be slightly larger. And then... boom. What I'll probably do then is also tween the arms along with the hatch, like, so it doesn't just snap. So it does look a little silly. And I think I want to... on this final stage is when, like, you wouldn't even really see it like this, but if you look at the hatch when it's fully open, you get jump scared. Like, because you messed up and you let the hatch fully open, so it's your fault. What's the name of that yummy pink goobler? The yummy pink goobler? What are you referring to? Yummy pink goobler. So I'm gonna increase that initial angle just ever so slightly to like 7. Inside my elevator. Oh, this guy. He's the homunculus. Yeah. That's who you're talking about. He's a little creature. All right, so the angle on that looks good. Let's go ahead and make it so the hands are shaded. Just go up here and say shaded. We will not do billboarding, because it just looks stupid. Doesn't work. disable that. I think that's basically everything in here. Just wanted to look like he's about to come out of the hatch. Then I'll do some more animations for like when his hands get shut on and stuff, you know. There's still a bunch more to do, but... Then like on this phase right here, I want his... Let's see. Boom. I want his hands to not be sticking out as far on that phase. Like, I think I'll also dynamically control the X position of the hands, or the Z position. So let's say var initial hand position is equal to doorman hands global position. And now I can change his hand position too. So doorman hands dot position dot z is equal to the 2D thing is going to stay pixel arty like that. I'm not entirely sure yet. That's something that will continue to evolve as time goes on. Is like exactly the style of the entities and stuff. I'm not quite sure yet. But we want to do more of like a painted style. I think it's going to be a little less pixel arty like this. We'll be going through and doing another pass on all these someday. I think it's sometimes hard to really easily define your art style so early on, because a part of it, I think, like that matters is the everything surrounding the art. I don't know. Like, once we get more gameplay implemented and more of the environment, I think we'll start to better feel out what these assets should look like. He doesn't really fit as is. That's fair. I mean, what do you imagine would look better? Let's see if stage is equal to 1. Initial hand position. So I want to say doorman hands dot position z is that dot z minus like 0.1 or something. I don't know, something that doesn't fit the detailed environment. That's totally fair. We're definitely going to be replacing a lot of these assets with a more grungy vibe. These are just temporary because unfortunately Zach's drawing pen is out of battery and they take quadruple A's, which are weird batteries, so he had to order some. So these are very just scrapped together with a mouse right now, just so I can start implementing this. But I think it'll be okay. Oops. Just say on ready. But yeah, I think it's just good to develop iteratively, right? And this is also where playtesting comes into play as well. Like, if people have suggestions and feedback, I implore them to leave them. So, quadruple A's sound like the battery company watched too much Dragon Ball Z, yeah. It's really funny. I don't know why we use that naming scheme. It's so insane how many, just the variety of naming schemes that we have in the world, you know? Like, we have the whole A to Z letter system, and then we have numbers, and then we have like marks, like Latin letters, I, you know, V, X, L. This is so weird. Why can't we just agree on one standard, guys? For everything. Come on. Yeah, so now the hands just stick out a little bit more. It's a very small difference, but I think it just kind of makes it look like he's more coming out of the hatch. I might add another hatch stage in here, possibly, so that we have like another one sort of in between these first two. So that one, he's just barely got his fingers out. This one, he's more reaching out. And maybe we do another one right here where he's like really coming out. And then the one where it's fully open is death mode. You die. So don't let the hatch go open. So we do have a bunch of other assets for this guy in here. That's literally just the hands. We've got... like, this is like another animation. Let's see, what's the difference between these two? Okay, then we got one here that's like a jump scare. So this is going to be an on-screen effect, I think, instead of... but I don't know, I'll see. The way it's framed, at least, it seems to be... same answer as where there are a million Linux distros, that's true. Let's get texture rect. And actually, this is going to be weird, because it has to be animated. I'll have to, oops, change that to a regular sprite 2D animated. I have to work with Zach so we can figure out exactly, like, how we want to do this jump scare. I imagine it as being just, I was going to do this again. I don't know why the project has been failing to load images. Like, what's the deal with that? Is it because I didn't import it normally? I think that's what happened. Because I didn't, like, drag it in. I just hard saved it. So we have to reload every time. Sometimes in math books, they have, like, hey, question 1, first part of question. Yeah, that's crazy. No, I know what you mean, though. Yeah, there's so many different numerical ordering systems. Sprites, entities, jump scare. Let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And again, this is also temporary, so, you know. And then is this, this is not filtered properly, is it? Okay. Seems to be. So, we're gonna have to figure out how we want to do the position of this. I think we'll just create a new control node. Center it, then add that as a child. And the scale of this needs to increase. Like so. See, the thing is that it's gonna just immediately pop up on the screen instead of him, like, jumping up from the bottom or something. So we're definitely gonna have to work on this. I don't think this is quite the way we want to do it. I don't know why it looks so blurry. It's hard to tell if that's just the... I think that's just the actual asset. But again, remember guys, this is just done on mouse because drawing pen is not available. Yeah, we should... I think I'll discuss with Zach and we'll figure out a better way to format this. So I think we could just make the jump scare happen not on screen like that. Just kind of lock the player's camera in toward the entity and then make them do the animation. Because then you get all the lighting and stuff, and I think that's just going to be a better way to do it. So, because otherwise this way it just feels a little too impersonal, like it's just on the screen now instead of being in the game anymore. So yeah. We'll figure it out. But anyways, guys, unfortunately, I have to end stream. But you know what? We actually streamed for longer than I expected, given that we were 2 hours late. So, not too bad. Yeah, again, apologies for the massive delay starting stream, but it's okay. I'll try and be better tomorrow. I have to go to bed earlier. It's so hard, though. All right. We're going to go raid out. Who would we like to raid? Who's in the indie team? Finn is playing Outer Wilds. I don't want spoilers. So we're not going to raid him. Let's see. We got Jitspo. He's doing Paintball 2 development. Okay. We could raid in there. Anyways, gamers, thank you for coming to the stream. I will be distributing keys pretty soon. It's not going to immediately have a file you can install. So, I mean, well, I'll try and work on that, hopefully. Maybe I'll send those tomorrow or something. Yeah, I'll get started on that. And, yeah, thanks for coming in. Starground is still on sale for 2 more days for the winter sale. Feel free to grab that if you want. Join the Discord, and I'll see you gamers tomorrow at 3:30 MST. Yeah, thank you gamers. I appreciate it. And I'll see all of you tomorrow. Wait, I have to actually start the raid. I always forget that you have to wait 10 seconds. Gotta wait 10 seconds. And I'll also start adding you guys into the role in the Discord server for playtesting, so. Okay. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.